Speaking of, hello, Slacks.
Hello.
All right. So this is for my AP final project. My teacher knows who I am. To the rest of the audience on the internet, I'm Anaheim. My friend here is Slacks. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. You call me Slacks. Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, the main thing that I just want to address today is specifically about something religious based, and it's not to do with any religious debating or anything like that. Um, so I just want to give myself a quick introduction. I'm the host, Anaheim, like you just heard. And I am Catholic specifically. So yeah, Slacks, do you want to tell us what religion you are?
I'm a Christian. You can portray me as Anglican.
Yep. So, um, the main thing that I brought you on today. Yeah, give me a bit. All right. Well, sorry about that. My parents was calling me. Um. Anyway, well, the main reason why I brought you on here, Slacks, is to talk specifically about religious discrimination on social media and why it's actually a bigger issue than most people actually think it to be. All right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. So for starters, we can agree that just the basis that we're going off of for religious discrimination is just any sort of disrespect towards somebody because of their religion or lack thereof, right?
I mean, yeah, we can go off that because some people, you can really guarantee that they're not knowledgeable enough to understand some basic concept or context to where things happen in the world. They just use word excuses to hit on religion.
Yeah, which is another thing is that despite religion teaching people to be honestly having a forgiving nature and to love one another, a lot of people use it as a medium to hate and disrespect other people. What do you think about that kind of action?
Yeah, because what I will say is that since I'm not hating them, I'm just saying that since people tend to follow the current world monologue of society, they propose a more advanced view against the religious view because they believe or they think there are different contradictions to different religions whatsoever. And they try to use us and pose that as a negative influence against the world or something, which is just far and far from the truth.
Mm. So, well, do you think that sort of like debating online specifically about religion, do you think that that can cause some sort of religious conflict?
Yeah, it's 100% going to cause religious conflict.
All
You have different, because in different debating communities online, you can have different like views, different style of views, different religious views, in which one can propose to a huge argument, which can lead to different type of hate, and it really can goes into huge conflict.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that the main place that we see this sort of spread, obviously, is what we're talking about today, social media. Because the prevalence of social media's impact in today's society is honestly just too large to explain, right? And although
Yeah,
there's positives of it, like bringing people together and connections, there's also so many negatives that come along with social media, like religious discrimination, which we're bringing up today, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Um. So basically, the main thing that I'm going to bring up is just that there's a correlation between actual conflicts of discrimination online and actual hate crimes in real life that occur. So, hold on. I'm going to send you something in DMs real quick. It's a case study about specifically discrimination and how it leads to violence in real life.
mhm.
Right? Okay, so if you look in your DMs, I sent a study from the Council on Foreign Relations, which specifically for Americans is a reliable source on just sort of what happens inside and outside of the country and just statistics and kind of stuff like that. So basically, what the article is about is drawing a correlation between what I just mentioned, uh, discrimination on social media and hate crimes in real life. The biggest example for the sake of this topic right now, if you go into it and you look, it brings up how 49 Muslims were killed at prayer because of the Great Replacement theory. So basically, the Great Replacement theory was just a theory from a bunch of white supremacists that stated that white people were having less and less influence online, and eventually they would be completely replaced by others. So what these people wanted to do is they wanted to stop that, and their methodology for doing that was by committing horrible acts of discrimination and then turning it into real crimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a consequence of this sort of thing happening, um, in New Zealand, 49 Muslims were killed, like I just said, while they were trying to pray. And the person who did it sought to broadcast it online, which would have spread even more negativity. And it doesn't just stop there. There are even bigger religious conflicts that are going on where they're using social media to spread all this um, misinformation sometimes and just to slander other communities. One of the biggest case of that was specifically in Myanmar, where military leaders and Buddhist nationalists, where they would use slurs and they would try to demoralize and demonize all these just innocent Muslims during their campaign of ethnic cleansing. So it's just an awful act.
Yeah, I noticed. It's just that basically, what's the cause of all this is because of the society and the norms being portrayed. You know, basic norms and religious norms are both different from what an average person sees these days.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, you can really say that religious discrimination around the world and online can be said to be based on different factors. One factor including that atheists sometimes could have a certain hate towards the fact that they're either they're being agnostic or atheist. They like pose a certain type of hatred against people, religious people, based on the like. For example, an analogy can be defined as the current Israel and Palestine war. We can see that I've seen some people who said like different religious factors is saying that Israeli people, Jewish people, and Muslims from Palestine, they're at war and there's a discrimination because some people, they don't know the real context towards it. They just believe that Israel is the bad people as they're killing innocent lives, this and that, although that can be defined as
yeah,
that can be seen as a different form of morality. But I'll just leave that aside because I'm not talking about ethics right now. So yeah, they just don't know the context source. They just go and do what they see, whatever they want to do. As long as they see it to be wrong, they don't care if they don't care if they should go draw deep into more information about that. They just do whatever they want to do, which
yeah,
causes
that's
different
true.
conflict to one another.
Yeah, a lot of people do jump to conclusions nowadays and just go off what they first see. That's a big problem nowadays. There's actually about the whole how you spoke about the whole societal norms part. That's completely right. There are actually a lot of people in a lot of countries who believe that you should be able to make statements that are offensive to minority groups publicly on social media. Specifically in the United States, 60%, 67% of people believe that you should, and some even do decide to make offensive statements to minorities online. Part of that comes from the whole freedom of speech culture that the US has adopted, but I think that could still go too far. So, obviously, we can't take away these people's freedom of speech. So, how do you think we would go about solving this issue?
Hey, come again?
Huh?
Your last, come again from your last statement.
Yeah. So, because we've already established that there is indeed a correlation between people believing they should be able to actually doing and committing violent crimes about being able to make offensive statements to minority groups. Um, because we can't take away these people's freedom of speech. That's the right that they're given, right? What solutions do you think we should give them?
I believe the further solution should probably like create mass gatherings for people who are knowledgeable to like understand different views and different concepts between one another so they can like have a better relationship with other people concerning this religious discrimination. Because yeah, based on what you said, people just go ahead to whatever they want. They just don't have enough knowledge or informative like basis for them to like back it up or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's actually, I completely agree with that. This is sort of a moral issue. There's no permanent solution to solving this without offending or actually like limiting a group of people. So I think the biggest thing we can do is just to try to give these people guidance to their moral compass, right? We could do
Mhm.
things like go on to podcasts and spread the word and spread awareness about how this is a big problem and we need to solve it as soon as possible. We can do what you said. We can form big groups of knowledgeable people on these topics, informing others and trying to convince them to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Well,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, that's about it that I have for today. Thank you so much, Slacks.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I am. Good discussion.
Yep, spreading the word. All right. You know, been a good time. Have a great night. And I'll
Yeah,
see
you too.
you guys, the audience, later. Goodbye.
All right, later. Goodbye.